Hey y'all, this is Destiny checking in with today's Daily Diamond. Hey family, as always, I would like to say welcome to anybody who is new and checking out the podcast. I thank you for the support. And hey again to those of you who have been with me. Thank you for tuning in and welcome back. So before I do anything, you know that I have to jump into thanking my sponsors. So up first, we have the only hair that I wear, the Royal Crown Extensions. Then of course, we have my absolute favorite lip gloss, Kisses by Shelly. Make sure you check out Kisses by Shelly for your lashes, your lip gloss, and she will soon be offering merchandise. Then of course, we have our up and coming braider, Lisha. Make sure you check her out for your box braids, your buns, your ponytails, your curls. And last but not least, make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, and comment on my best friend Tiana Nate's videos. Make sure that you check her out. If you are an up-and-coming business and up-and-coming entrepreneur, an artist, or whatever who needs some promo, please let me know. Feel free to send me a message on Instagram so that you can get in the promo rotation. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram. My Instagram is Destinies_Diamonds. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm literally everywhere. Make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media avenues so that you can stay abreast to all that I have planned for the brand, the podcast, so on and so forth. So I really want to take some time today to jump into this topic. And this topic kind of came to me today while I was at work. And so bear with me if you will. So today's topic is literally called You Decide. And when I say you decide, I literally mean you decide. And it's so simple, but it can be so complicated, right? As we grow and as we learn and as we matriculate in this thing called life, right, it becomes extremely difficult to make decisions. And part of being an adult is making decisions. But one part about being an adult and making decisions is you're not really necessarily taught how to necessarily make decisions or to make the best decisions or to make decisions that include not only you, but your spouse, your girlfriend, your children, whatever, right? How to make decisions that are in the best interest of not just self, but in the best interest of all. And so when I say you decide, I literally want to even talk about a little bit more that you decide how you want to be treated. You decide how your day is going to go. You decide what things you're going to deal with and what things you're not going to deal with. You literally decide everything that you will, to a certain extent, everything that you will encounter physically and emotionally and socially. And you also have to learn how to decide which things aren't even worth your attention, which things aren't even worth your headache, which things aren't even worth worrying about because they're not advantageous for you. They're not a part of your success. They're not a part of your story. And so you literally have got to decide. And one thing that I pride myself on is being a very reflective and very intentional individual. And the more that I do this podcasting, the more that I am aware and awoke and kind of tapped into the things that go on in my life and the things that I've been taught by my mother and, other family members and things that I've kind of learned along the way. And so that kind of leads me into this. So my mom used to always say, you teach a man how to treat you. And you know how when your parents give you advice and you're young, you never really listen, right? But one thing that I've realized is that you don't even necessarily teach a man how to treat you. You literally teach people, every single person that you encounter, how to treat you. And how they treat you is based on what you decide to allow. And so when my mama used to always say, well, you teach a man how to treat you, you do. And it's based on your decisions. And this isn't necessarily a podcast about teaching a man how to treat you. That's a whole nother episode. Maybe one day I'll do that, right? It's not even necessarily teaching a man how to treat you. It is literally teaching people how to treat you. It is literally putting yourself in a position in which you decide all that you take in, all that you encounter, all that you digest, all that you read, all that you touch, all that you engage in. You literally have to decide what it is that you want and that you need for you to be whole and for you to be happy, right? And part of doing this podcast, I always tell you guys that I give myself my own advice. But one thing that I kind of remembered and one thing that I kind of thought of was this concept of self-care, right? Self-care is so very important, especially in a world that we live in that is so hectic and so wound up, and there's so many different things going on in this life that it is literally like a necessary component to make decisions for ourselves that include what we need to do for self-care. And so you've got to sit down and literally decipher your doggone life. You've got to literally sit down and decide which things are worth it, which things are not worth it. And then how are you going to move? How are you going to adjust yourselves, accordingly, so that you can handle the things that are positive to you. You can handle those things that make you feel good. You can handle those things that are necessary. And even the things that you have to handle that are necessary but that can be stressful, and you gotta handle them, how can you figure out a way around that? How can you put yourself in a predicament to still decide to do something that is positive, that is good for your soul, that is good for your brain, that is good for your spirit? You've literally got to decide. And it's almost as if you need to look at this decision as if your life depends on it, right? As you think about everything that you have to deal with and everything that you have to encounter, think about how stressful that can be, right? But what if you decided that today you are only going to receive positive energy, that today you are only going to receive laughter, or that tomorrow you will be emotionally present for someone else, right? I told you guys one of my goals this year is to be more giving to other individuals, right? And so I'm literally going to begin, I think, I haven't nailed it kind of down, but I'm going to literally begin giving gifts. Every month is my goal to give a gift to someone who is important to me. Not a gift that's monetarily a big deal, but a gift just as a gesture to say, you know what, I thank you, I appreciate you, I see you, you are important, because I'm deciding that I want that positivity, that I need that positivity, and that thing is literally important and paramount to my spirit. I am literally a giver and a nurturer, and I'm okay with that. And so in order for me to feed my spirit, right, I got to do that part. And so if you're out there and you're struggling with something or you're dealing with something that's not so positive, be it work, be it your job, be it wherever. And I don't know where my listeners are from, because you guys are from all over the planet based on my stats, unless they're lying to me. But I got a listener in Germany somewhere. But decide what you want to encounter. Decide what you want to take in. I'm also going to try to work on being a person that is a little less explanatory, right? I have this real bad habit of when someone asks me something, I explain myself. But I don't have to, right? I'm an adult. So whatever decision that I choose to make, be it for myself, be it for my children, be it even for my students in my classroom, right? That's the decision that I saw best to fit what I had to do. And so I'm deciding how things are going to go. I am going to be in control of my environment and my emotions as much as I can so that I can decide to have positivity in my life, right? I decide to do so many things that please other people, but in my decision-making process, which I'm quite sure y'all do this too, right? In our decision-making process, we forget ourselves. And we literally shortchange ourselves for the love of someone else. We shortchange ourselves for the peace of someone else. And in some instances, you kind of got to do that. I'm a mom of young children, so sometimes that kind of got to happen. But I can also decide that I'm going to be present with myself. I can decide that I'm going to care for myself. I am going to decide that I'm going to recoup some time for myself, or I am going to do whatever it is that I need to do to be happy with myself, because those things are important to me. And so as you go throughout the rest of your week, or as you're listening to this podcast, think about what you decide to do for you. Think about how the decisions that you make can positively or negatively impact not just your physical being and the job you have, but how does it affect your mental psyche? How does it or how does it not put you in a predicament and put you in a place and put you in a situation that's either positive or negative, right? I was thinking today and I got back to work after the holiday break and my desk was really blank. And then I was trying to figure out what was going on. And then I realized really quickly that I didn't have a desk calendar, right? And so I decided like I got to fix that problem. But then I looked at my desk and I realized that my desk was not necessarily a reflection of who I am, and it wasn't as bright and as vibrant as I wanted it to be. And so I then decided, well, you know what? I'm going to go to Joann Fabric over the weekend, and I'm going to get some fabric, and I'm going to drape the top of my desk, because that's more representative of who I am. And then I'm going to add things around my desk and in that space that put me in a positive place and that put me in a happy place and put me in a good space, because I'm deciding to receive that kind of energy in my classroom environment, in the place in which I am in. I want to receive that positivity. I want to receive those things that are good, those things that are great, those things that make me feel good. And so in whatever you doing, wherever you are in your world, decide what you want to deal with. If you have decided, that you're going to start a YouTube channel, or you're going to do a podcast, or you're going to do whatever, like whatever you need to do, you're starting an organization, whatever you need to do to be okay with yourself, do that. And then decide what things you will accept, which things you won't accept, what things are good for you, what things are bad for you, what things that you have to do, either good or bad, that you got to do because we got to live, we got to survive, we got jobs, we got families, right? Literally decide what you want to take in, and then only take those things in. Don't take in anything else, because you're not necessarily required. And I know that I have young people out there who are listening, and I always say, you guys have different parameters and you've got different rules because you're living with an adult and so on and so forth. But you can decide to take in positivity. You can decide, what, this time, this semester, this month, I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to give it my all. I am literally going to receive nothing but positive energy. And when you receive nothing but positive energy, positive things start to happen to you. I literally fundamentally believe that I am so blessed as an individual because I have such a positive outlook on life. Doesn't mean I don't get downtrodden. It doesn't mean that bad things don't happen. But I try my best to be as positive as I can, because I know that every storm that I experience, every hardship that I experience will eventually come to an end. And so that is an important component of what I do. That is an important component of how I live my life. That is an important just factor in everything that I do. And so you decide today, you decide tomorrow, you decide this week what you are going to do, how that is going to impact you, and what things you really want to deal with. And if it's something that is not positive and you can't deal with it anymore and it's not good for you, then get rid of that thing. Like I said in one of my tweets earlier this week, you don't need a new year to make a resolution. You literally get every day that you open your eyes, every day that your feet hit the floor. You literally get another 24 hours to do it again. And so even though you can't do it again in the exact same order, you can fix a problem or you can change something to be better. So you literally can decide, just because I accepted that today, doesn't mean I'm going to accept it tomorrow. Just because I accepted it last week, it doesn't mean I'm going to accept it this time, because right now, this time and in this stage and in this place, I am going to care for myself. I am going to do what is necessary for me to be happy, me to be healthy, me to be powerful, me to be purposeful, me to be positive, me to get out of this dark place that I'm in. Literally everything and anything that you need to do for yourself. And like I said, based on what you decide, like my mother used to tell me, you teach people how to treat you. If they've realized that you've decided that you're not going to fall for these things or do these things or whatever the case may be, then they'll adjust accordingly, because they'll see they have no choice because your decisions have changed. And so as I get ready to leave you, I challenge you to just think about that. Decide what things you can take, what things you can't take, and figure out what you will and won't receive, because you deserve it. And we need you to be happy. We need you to be healthy. And we need you to literally be in love with yourself and who you are. Okay? And so this is Destiny signing out with today's Daily Guidance. I'll see you guys soon.